Okay, welcome everyone to another interview from another self-love student. And today we have with us Ashley. She's going to share her story and transformation that she went through in the Magic of Self-Love program. So, Ashley, could you introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Of course. Hello, good morning. On my end, my time zone. I am a trauma therapist. So I work with children and families in foster care. I do some treatment with the children, but for the most part, I work with the foster parents, getting them trained and evaluated so that we can determine whether or not they'll be a good fit as a foster parent. I live in San Diego. This is where I was born and raised, and then I went away for school and lived in Europe for a year, and now I'm back
Mm,
here. So that's my story.
wow. Thank you for an amazing introduction. Um, we'll talk about later, how did a trauma specialist join a self-love program? Because when you told me that, I was like, what? Which you told me like halfway the program. But still, I don't want to forget that question.
Mm,
Um, I guess I'll just read from the question list. What did you hope to accomplish or learn when you applied for the scholarship to this program? Because Ashley is the scholarship winner for this program.
yeah. And first, I just want to say I am so grateful and I feel so blessed and full of gratitude to have won this scholarship. I know I've expressed it to you, but like
Yes.
it almost overwhelms me. It almost, brings tears to my eyes because I think going into it, I didn't fully know what to expect. Like self-love, I always knew it was important, but I didn't really understand what it meant in action. So it was
Mm,
like this nice idea that I knew I needed more of
mm,
and that I've certainly taught other people, and yet
mm,
I was not applying to myself.
mm,
And so it was, I think my mind was really open as far as what to expect, but I also, I didn't realize how deep this program was going to be and how impactful and powerful and how many tools we were going to gain. And it's this beautiful balance between understanding the concept and then having a very practical tool. So it's like, it's not too much of the theory and the concept because it's always beautifully balanced with something you can immediately apply. And for
mm,
me, I can sometimes get too caught up in theory and concept and philosophy because that's how I've been trained. And
mm,
then I forget how to practically apply it in my everyday life.
mm,
So I think that's what I was so struck by is just how beautifully balanced the program is and how every single lesson has shaped the way I approach my day and I think about my self-talk and I approach goals, and like it's trickled through every aspect of my life. Like there's no area that's been untouched by this program, and I would have never known to expect that.
mm.
It's been really, I think the words that just keep coming back are, it's so transformational and powerful.
Wow. Thank you, Ashley. I feel like you just answered most of the questions that I was going to ask you, but I love your energy. And like, as soon as I read your form and the application form, I knew you were the one. There were like over 30 applicants, and like there was no competition with yours. It's like you just wrote a novel, and I'm like, wow, she truly cares. She's ready to transform. And you're like, I'm going to do everything, all the work. I'm gonna dedicate time. It's like you told me how you were gonna do it. I'm like, she's the one. Like I want people in the program that are ready to transform, who are ready to like do everything, all the lessons, everything. Not that they're told to do, but like they're ready to just learn and take it all in. And you were like such a joy to work with. And
Aw.
I'm just so grateful like that you're in my life and you entered the program and now you're super close to finishing, and that you've transformed. I've seen your transformational, and I'm just so excited for you to share even more.
Yes. And it was a really, I mean, the week that I applied was one of the most difficult weeks I've been through in life.
Mm,
I was going through a very difficult breakup that was, kind of even deeper than like the heartbreak and loss that we all go through with a breakup, because I had seriously questioned my intuition. Because
mm,
basically, like without going into detail, the reason we broke up was he revealed truths about himself that I was completely caught off guard and like shocked. And my intuition, like I felt like, oh, here, I use my intuition in my everyday work when I assess foster parents. Are they going to be safe for these children or not? And I feel so connected to my intuition. And yet I started seriously questioning it, because how could I have not known,
Mm.
that all of this was existing in this relationship? So it was kind of one of those, like, let me just apply, let me put my heart on the application. And I always write novels. That's sort of my style. I love, so that's just how I do things. But it was just one of those, let me put it out there. And I was feeling so unworthy of it. And then when I saw that I was selected, it was kind of my first, like, okay, universe, like, you have my back. Like, we are going to do this. And it's every moment that I've put into the program, like, I feel like I've gained tenfold. It's been so powerful.
Oh, thank you, Ashley. I just love listening to you speak and express yourself. You're so intuitive, so powerful. So I'm excited just to hear more. Like whenever you would send me Voxer messages, it's like, oh my gosh, like it's like you will fill me with emotion because you transmit so much energy. And we'll talk about this more because you are very spiritually intuitive and powerful. Okay. So what did you hope to accomplish or learn in this course? I think you already answered it, but
Yeah.
um, I guess
So
maybe
I
you can
think,
go a little bit deeper.
sure. Yeah. Like I was saying, like, it just, self-love and even like gratitude was just kind of this concept, but I didn't know how to apply it. So I
Right.
think that was one of my primary intentions, was just learning how to really use these tools with myself to make the shift within.
Mm.
And that's part of, I've been a trauma therapist now for 11 years, and my focus has always been into pouring into others. And I work with really young children in foster care, so it was like help pouring all my healing energy into healing them and repairing the relationship with their birth parents or their foster parents. And I had really, really lost touch of that balance between pouring into myself and taking care
Mm.
of myself and prioritizing my own healing. So it
Mm.
was basically like I had pushed pause on my own spiritual health and healing for 11 years because
Wow.
I was pouring into others. And in the American kind of corporate way, the productivity expectations, like I was seeing 8 to 9 children a day, 8 to 9 children and families a day, and I would just go home so depleted. So I've really taken a look at that balance, and that's before this program I didn't know how to rebalance, and
Okay.
now I do.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. What was your most transformative lesson? And then what was your favorite lesson?
Oh gosh, this is so difficult. Most transformative. Oh, wow. I mean, I could probably talk about 20 different lessons. One of the ones that just came up yesterday was around, like that I just used again yesterday, was around tagging our thoughts and pivoting our thoughts. And again, it was like something I was teaching others, but it wasn't applying to myself. And so, just to kind of give an example of yesterday, I was doing my meditation in the morning, and I was really asking, spirit and the universe to reveal to me some areas that still needed to be healed, some
Mm.
of those wounds that are still healing. And so that way I could focus attention to it. But then in kind of previous Ashley ways, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be so nice and neat, and I'm going to do it through my thoughts. Like, it's
Mm.
going to be cognitive healing, and spirit's going to reveal to me, like, these are your areas, and it's going to be very clean and not messy.
Right.
And then as I went about, then I went about my day, and later in the evening, there was like 3 triggers, one around the breakup, one around a loss of a family member. I'm trying to think of the third one, but so all of a sudden I was having all these thoughts of, like, you think you've come so far and here you are, you're right back where you started. Like,
Mm.
I felt so sad and depressed, and then my physical pain started to increase. Like, it was just so
Mm.
much. And then all of a sudden I started tagging my thoughts like you taught us to do, and this is a thought. Like,
Mhm.
so this what I'm hearing right now around, you think you've made so much progress, that's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that whole, dissolving that happens. And then I was pivoting those thoughts into, you know this is a trigger that still needs healing. And then all of a
Mm.
sudden it was like this huge aha moment, because it was like, oh yeah, I asked for this in the morning and I had totally forgot, and was then like shocked that all these triggers were coming up. It's like, well, duh, like you asked for this, and and it was just a lesson again in like the healing happens through deep emotions and feeling them and honoring them. And then I went through the whole Ponopono, which has been so powerful for
Mm.
me. And so just to kind of work to heal those different wounds that I asked to be revealed, it was so powerful. So before this program, I would have gotten stuck in the spiral of those thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have taken me down pretty quickly. And so I was able to, I started to feel that emotionally, but I was able to sit with those thoughts, or feelings, and the thoughts underneath them, and really just honor their presence, and then use some of the tools to help dissolve and heal and move through them. So it was really, yesterday was kind of like going through the whole program again in one day, like starting at the beginning and
Exactly.
coming
Oh
full
my
circle.
gosh. It makes me so happy because literally, oh my gosh, that like you already applied the whole program in like, I don't know how long, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And that's the point. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like this program literally is the formula. That's why it's called the magic formula, because you will use it every
Yes.
single day, every minute. In the way that you just did, it's like, okay, it's just a sound, let's pivot it. What am I grateful for? Now let's
Yes.
set magic intentions to create your life. And it's,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
The magic intentions has been so powerful in my work, because I supervise employees now, and it's kind of a newer role for me, and so I've been setting those intentions every morning. And even, what we started doing early on in the program around daily affirmations, it's so powerful. Like now I look forward to going to my bathroom, because my medicine cabinet has my vision board and my affirmations
Mm,
and my vibration scale, and
wow.
just all the different things that we've developed in this program. And it, like, I just look forward to that part of my morning every day. And before, because I have a very high stress job, a lot of times in the morning, what I would have to go to the bathroom to vomit, because I was anxious. Like I
Mm,
was having so much anxiety about what I had to do in the day,
mm,
that I would throw up. And it's like, now I've kind of reclaimed that space of like, no, this is where I go. Like, these are my beautiful daily reminders. And even the gratitude journal, like logging every morning and every night, it like sandwiches your day in such a
mm,
powerful way. And then I have such a deeper understanding of gratitude. Like I've shared with you before, I used to sort of think of it as like more attached to material things, like, oh, I'm so grateful that I have a safe place to live, and I'm so grateful that I have these cute boots, or what, whatever. And now I understand it's so much deeper than that. And setting intention is so powerful. So it's like I now feel gratitude and intention infused throughout every day, all
mm,
day. And it's really, that alone is just such a life changer.
wow. You're amazing. um, there's, as I made this program and like, work with you guys, like I started to get, more, I guess, deeper into like everything, healing, forgiving. And I realized that forgiving is loving. I know it's in the Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry for hearing me think of that, but like it made even more sense after like seeing you guys transform. It's like, no, when you truly forgive someone, you're grateful for them being in your life. And then after gratitude, it's like you love them because they exist, because without them, like you wouldn't have grown.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I
Yeah.
I was sharing with you guys that like I had this huge trigger this December with my partner's parents, and they triggered this area of my life from my childhood with my dad. He's a very macho man, and I saw that on my partner's dad, and I just got so angry, and I'm like, I need to heal this. Like, I don't want to, because I keep attracting macho men all the time. And I'm like, I want this to be the last time. So I started to be grateful to him in my head, and it hurted so much. But then I saw how much good he's done with to us and the family, and that's like I radiate love to him. And I don't know, it's just I see like how, you know, it's like it's hard, like you said, it's hard to see that on yourself, but like
Mhm.
when I see it on into you guys, it's like wow, it's like it's all about gratitude and love always. Like I know it sounds cheesy because it's overused, but it is like it all comes down to gratitude and then love. And yeah.
Yes, so true.
Yeah. um how did you used to feel before the program, and how do you feel now? I feel like you've answered all these already, but like I still want to ask you these questions.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing I haven't talked about yet was
Yeah.
I was I'm a very self-critical person.
Mm.
And Marcia and I in the program have really related on this because I was a perfectionist. And so now I call myself, a perfectionist in recovery, like almost like an addict,
Mm.
because I know that that doesn't just stop completely. And there's parts of it that I want to maintain. Like I have an incredible work ethic and I love that about myself. And that's gotten me very far in life. I put myself through school and honors classes all the way through graduate school with 2 masters, and like I love my work ethic. But
Mm.
I now recognize all that internal critique and judgment and self-abuse really is like I was
Right.
verbally abusing myself in my own mind, and a lot of that
Mm.
came from different models in my childhood that they were very critical and judgmental, and so I absorbed a lot of that without really understanding how it was impacting my frequency and my actions and my emotions and everything. So that's been really big. Is I've struggled with anxiety and depression in the past, and I had to be on medication for a really long time,
Mm.
as like for depression and then also for pain. And so now in my life, like I'm not on any medication, just vitamins, and it's like so beautiful because I'm able to take small steps to raise my frequency and
Yeah.
vibration in a way that I didn't know how to do before. So it's simple things too, like you had taught us about the high frequency of roses. And so now like I make a point to smell a rose every day. And it's like the
Oh,
small stuff.
so
It's
beautiful.
but it's so powerful. And
Mm.
so, and you had told me in one of our Voxer chats, like to befriend my mind, like to because I
Mm.
was starting to see, as I was feeling resistance, I was starting to almost see like an us and them, like my spiritual being and my mind and my ego, and seeing us in war. And it's like, that wasn't helpful. So to befriend and take ownership of those parts of myself, but then work to transform them in a loving way. Because
Mm.
then it sounds so ridiculous, but then I was being self-critical about being self-critical.
Mm.
So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there you go again, Ashley, you're being self-critical. Like who even does that? Who's self-critical about. So it was just so powerful to I've come a long way, even before this program in shifting those thought patterns, but this was like the final shift that I needed. And now when one of those thoughts comes up like yesterday, I recognize it right away and I know what to do about it. Whereas before it would just be
Mm.
spinning and spinning and generating more and more energy.
Wow. I'm just in awe. I don't even know what to say. It's like you express yourself so clearly, and it's like you've come a long way. It's like,
Yeah.
um, well, next question is, what did your inner critic used to tell you before joining the program, and what does it tell you now?
Yeah. That's like exactly. My inner critic was very loud and very opinionated before. And she told me so many things that were wrong and less than and not worthy of. And now, when the inner critic pops up, I recognize, like I used to see the inner critic as my true self,
No,
and now
yeah.
I realize it's not. Like
Mm.
my higher self now says to the inner critic, like, it's almost like a whoa sis, like no, no, nope, 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 we're not going down that pathway anymore. We have a new way of being. Like
Wow.
you're not going to use words as poison against yourself anymore. Like we're
Mm.
shifting, we're done with that.
Mm.
And it's almost this, like I wrote it on my mirror, with everything else too, like spirit won't allow that anymore. Like, nope,
Mm,
nope. So it's just catching myself so much earlier now.
that's beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
Today I was reading this article and it said perfectionism is a toxic illness.
Ooh.
And I'm like, wow,
Yep.
that's deep. And like you said, like in school, parents,
Yes.
they teach us to be perfect, and it's so toxic, just like the processed food, just like the advertisement, the
Yes.
perfect pictures we see on Instagram. Everything is so
Yes.
toxic. And
Yeah.
I just love that, like, you're not identified with that anymore. It's like
Nope.
I don't know how to say it, but like you feel so light, you feel,
Hmm.
like spirit.
Yeah.
I see the awareness within you. I see that you have clarity,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud.
So just the visual of that, because I got it, I have been working with a shaman as well during this program.
Mm,
And one of the visuals that came to the Reiki teacher and so it was the shaman and the Reiki teacher that I was with this weekend. And she said, it's almost like now I'm an eagle that's soaring over things. And all of these little, like, she was saying, it's almost like these droppings are sizzling, like
mm,
falling off of you. And it's shedding the pain and the suffering and the resistance. Like, I'm shedding all of that so that now I can fly freely. And it's like exactly the image that kind of matches what you were just saying, and how I feel. It's so powerful.
wow. Well, now that you mentioned the Reiki and the shaman, the next question is connected to that. So, what have you manifested so far during the program? Because the program, I would say half of it is self love, and the other half is manifestation, but it's manifestation through self love.
Hmm.
So, what have you manifested during the program?
Yeah, that's another powerful question. And I want to start by saying part of my perfectionism and everything was that it was so difficult for me to ask for help. And I
Yeah.
realized that part of manifesting, I wouldn't even ask the universe for help.
Mm,
I wouldn't even pray to God for help. I just had this very deep belief that I had to do it on my own,
mm,
because to rely or ask for help from others leaves you vulnerable to them not coming through. And then in my mind, it was like, then you're worse off than if you just do it yourself. So that was a massive limiting belief I had before. And it dictated so much of my life,
mm,
so much of my life. So really just coming to realize, like, that a huge part of manifesting I had to get comfortable with was feeling worthy of what I was asking for, and asking for it. That it was so uncomfortable, and it would, like, almost upset my stomach in the beginning of this program because it was so unfamiliar to me. But with practice and writing scenes and breaking it down, and I think the pivot point for me was when you taught us to feel gratitude for what we hope to manifest.
mhm,
And the part that I'm still learning is how to not focus on the how. That's going to take some, I need more practice around that. And that's where
mhm,
this module that we're working on now, like, I know I'm getting a lot of practice at that piece, is like setting the intention, feeling the gratitude as if I already have it, and then letting it go.
mhm.
So that's like the manifestation cycle as I understand it. And I'm still, that last piece I'm still growing in. But I'm excited about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So some really powerful things though have happened in the last few months of this program. For one, with the relationship that I spoke about, like, we were still in communication and connection. So even though it was a breakup, like, there was still a lot of enmeshment energetically and all of that.
Mm,
And so I had to do something that was, again, very unfamiliar for me, and I asked for help. A cousin of mine is a Reiki master, and she did a cord cutting for me. So where you, like, energetically sever all the cords between me and my ex. And that was powerful. But it was
wow.
so, I almost felt sick to my stomach, excuse me, just asking her for it, like, for help in that way.
Right.
Even though I was going to pay, this is how uncomfortable it was for me to ask for help.
Wow.
And that was such a powerful experience of, like, ask and you will receive, and
Mhm,
it's safe to do that. So that was like a big part of it. And then reconnecting with yoga, that was something I had not I've been working out at a strength training program now for almost 4 years faithfully, but
Mm,
I had stopped doing yoga because it makes me more aware of my limitations.
mm,
Just physically, I've had surgeries and things. So I was feeling, that's why I was avoiding it. And so really diving back into yoga, now I have these deep relationships with other women from the yoga community
mm,
that I needed in my life. Like my friendships with women before were feeling kind of superficial, and I'm a very deep person. Like you ask anyone about me, that's probably one of the top words they'll, I just don't like superficiality, and small talk doesn't, it bores me. It always has, even when I was little. So
right.
it's like now I have that community, and in a way that I didn't even know was really possible.
Wow.
Like that beautiful community. And then as a result of putting myself out there more, I got connected with an energy healer and then a shaman. And so I've been doing work in that way too. Like I've done a couple shamanic ceremonies, and then this weekend I got the opportunity to do shamanic Reiki, which is a little different than traditional Reiki. It still has all the components of traditional Reiki, but you learn how to kind of use the shamanic elements of calling in the ancestors and the spirit guides, and really creating an experience for, co-creating an experience with everyone, um, around healing and transforming and shifting from these old limiting beliefs. And so even just how that all came about was all manifestation. And then like I went to a yoga retreat Saturday, so the Reiki was Sunday, yoga was Saturday, and my cousin that morning said, oh, do you want to speak, just like impromptu, she's like, just freestyle. It was a goddess retreat. And so I said, at first I was kind of like, oh, my perfectionism's like, you don't have
Right.
this scripted, like you shouldn't
Right.
do this. And I was like, sure, I'll speak. And I got up in front of the group and spoke about how as women, like all the systemic forces that take our power, that suppress our power, and
Mm,
how corporations do it, and our society, we're socialized from birth to dismiss and deny our own power as women, which is so much of that intuition and creation and all of that. And so, I was able to share like some of how I've regained my power as a woman and stand in the fullness of it, and no longer like try to fit myself into this package that's more appeasing to men. Like, no, I'm done with
mm,
that. It's take
mm,
it or leave it. Like, if you're not ready to stand next to me, alongside me, because I don't want to be in power over, but if you're not
right.
ready to partner with me, then exit left, no problem. So it was just so empowering. And as a result of like putting myself out there a little more, I've gotten a few private clients, because my salary job is, my primary job, but now I'm working with a couple children on the side, children and families that really, like, they're, both of the kids are empaths. They're highly
Mm,
sensitive little beings, and they confuse their parent, their parents don't know what to do with them. And and that was me as a child. So now I'm kind of getting to have that full
oh,
circle experience of like, your child is gifted. And like as an empath child, I was taught to see that as a weakness, like I was too sensitive and I was
right.
emotionally unstable. And it's like, no, I was just trying to grapple with the depth of emotions, and I had compassion for every living breathing being, and that was so overwhelming. So it's like now I'm able to work even in a little bit different way, and have some extra income in a way that's been really powerful. And of course it's like the perfect time,
Oh my gosh,
of
Ash.
year for that. So it's, yeah, it's like the manifesting is and I know there's more to come. Like my four major desires that we've been doing a lot of work on, like some of that's still to come. And and it may take some time, and I'm okay with that. That's the part I'm learning, is like, it doesn't have to be immediate. And when I'm ready for like the next love relationship, like my partner will be ready too, and he'll have done his healing in a way that we can then come together, like I said, like as two powerful partners, and go through life from that perspective, rather than, because in my past relationships I was always in a healer role,
Mm,
because that's what I'm so comfortable and familiar with. So I would kind of attract these men that had really deep wounds that they had no idea to process and work through. And so it was always kind of that uneven relationship. And now, I'm giving myself time to just
Mm,
be alone. And I love to be single. I've been single most of my life. So it's just
mm.
giving myself time, and then I'll manifest that part later. But it's, just knowing like there's some things that come in the immediate and some things that come in different forms than you expect it. And some of it will come down the road.
Mm. Oh my gosh, Ashley. You just said so much that like I just keep remembering like before you joining the program and like the first week and how sad you were and how
Yeah.
like even though you were asking for help in the boxer, you said like I've never asked for help and I'm so scared to ask for help and now you're like this empowered woman that is like you're asking for help to the universe and just by asking by what you want, right? That's help. Like you have your tribe, you got Reiki certified, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe you don't see it. Well, okay, I have a very analytical architectural mind because that's my background in architecture. So, like when you say that these people, you have like clients, personal clients now, you said one of your desires was to live in the cabins, right? Like live in
Yep.
the woods in a cabin and you need
Yeah.
money for that. So it's like these things are coming to you already. And like you
Yeah.
never would have imagined you getting extra income through
No.
personal coaching. And by coaching somebody who you love coaching, which is empath kids just like you. So
Yeah.
I already see your desires already manifesting because that's how they manifest. It manifest by things that don't make sense. But
Mhm.
it's like it's not that you well, this is the idea, the impression that I had. It's not that you don't love your job now, but it's like it's not your passion job. It's like doing so much work.
Mhm.
I feel like your passion is like working with spiritual kids. Well, that's my
Mhm.
opinion, because I'm very opinion.
Yeah.
Spirit empath kids, imagine like using your Reiki because you're so spiritually gifted, using your Reiki and then your trauma, 10 years of experience to help kids like you. I feel like
Yeah.
that is your passion. In my opinion, obviously
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
now it's coming to you, and it's because you're raising your frequency, you're giving yourself love, you're asking for what you want through writing it down, through setting intentions.
Yeah.
It's like I already see the manifestations taking place.
Yes.
It's like, and like you said, like if even if they take time, which like they're already coming towards you, because from what you just told me, the certifications, the little kids, and if you get one kid, there's more. There's so
I
many
know.
more that need your help. And if you call them out, seriously, if you say, I want to help, I don't know, a lot of kids, 1,000 this year, I don't know, but with these boundaries, I want to have 4 hours a day to me, have
Mhm.
boundaries still. The universe will give them to you, just like it gave you, this peace, this
Yeah.
um, help that you've been asking for. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I just see the big picture, and I just wanted to share it with you because
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
love that.
already manifesting already, and just
Yeah,
so yes,
I love that.
yes, I'm so excited, and I agree with the relationship. It's like you've already manifested so much, and now that I manifested my relationship, it's like wow, that was so easy. It's like once you love yourself, and then you ask for all the qualities, and
Yeah.
then more. It's like I like at least I want these, and then more. Whatever
Yeah.
you bring me, universe, I know it will be the perfect one. And everyone is a reflection of you. So it's like I feel like you're so empowered. You're so like your cup is so full right now, and your partner has to reflect you. It's the law. Like you
Yeah.
cannot attract somebody who's not you.
Yeah.
So
And that difficult relationship I came out of, like that I learned through our contrast lesson, like that's part of what that experience was, because
mm,
one, that prompted me to join this program,
mm,
and that was absolutely necessary. And two, it showed me like the areas that he wasn't at, that he, I don't want to say lacking, but I can't think of another word, but it clarified for me crystal clear what I need in a partner. And
mm,
so when we wrote the letter to, our dream love partner, like I was so clear. flowed. I think I was writing that letter for 20 minutes and it went by like that because I
Mm,
was so clear and so passionate about what I want that to look like. And so I know, I think for the first time in my life, I trust that that will come when I'm ready and when, when he's ready.
mm. That's so beautiful. And also, because I feel like you're enjoying your life more. We always have ups and downs, but it's like,
Yeah.
be happy now. And I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
you already are. It's like, it's gonna come. It's just like everyone is energy. People are energy. It's not like people are special and then you get to attract money, houses. No, you also attract people. So
Mm,
you're gonna get it because you already put it out into the universe. You already planted a seed. You already set an intention. So it's just a matter
yeah.
of time, like you said, and the perfect timing for
Yeah.
both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So powerful, Ashley. So I guess now you're a trauma specialist and a Reiki healer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I need a lot
Awesome.
of, I'm gonna get a lot of practice. That was just the first part of becoming Reiki, but Reiki certified. But what they teach you is that it's just a remembering. We all have this energy healing capacity within us, and it's just kind of a matter of remembering what we've forgotten in a way. So I'm really excited to, because there was always parts of Western, we like the way I was trained in clinical psychology and clinical social work is very Western. And
Mm-hmm.
so now feeling able to infuse more it's very imbalanced masculine energy wise,
Mm,
and there's almost a dependence that can happen on the therapist, and
mm,
it's like you and I were talking about, like there's money at the root of a lot of it, and I've never resonated with that. Like it's about healing and there has to be an exchange. I
mhm.
know that I can't just give
Right.
without receiving. That's not the way it works. But just feeling more comfortable to like the field that I'm a part of was created by wealthy white men, and like that's not who I'm working with. So I now feel more freedom to bring in some of the feminine energy and the intuition and like I brought one of my little clients the shungite stone so that he could
Oh my
help use
gosh.
that for grounding. Like I'm able to balance more of like in a way that feels really authentic and is kind of considering the person as a whole human rather than the way I was taught, kind of branching beyond the way I was taught
Mm,
to expand my understanding of healing, because it's Western psychology heals the mind, and it's so much more than that.
mm,
It's so much more than that.
mm.
It's like I think about it as the tip of the iceberg. Like traditional therapy kind of chips away at the tip of the iceberg, but we all know that the root of the iceberg is under the water. And so now I think energy healing and more spiritual healing and self-love, like all of that's the tip of, the base of the iceberg. So now
Mm.
I want to get the whole iceberg, not
Right.
just
Oh
the
my
tip.
gosh. Well, you're gonna be a super powerful healing person on this earth. Like if you can heal the mind, because you're obviously you know way more than I do. And I'm so grateful that you're humble and you're a student and you just learn from me. Even though like I only have like over a year of actually self love coaching, and then another year of healing myself. I didn't get a degree, and you have so much experience, so much knowledge, and I'm just so grateful that like you're not your ego with me. You're like, you're just another soul that wants to learn, and you just follow your
Absolutely.
intuition, and I'm so grateful for this. And oh yeah, and that you're gonna be a super powerful healing shaman expert. It's like you have the real world experience, and now you're gonna
Mhm.
have the energetic one. I'm so amazed. It's like I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's like split. Either you have like 10 years of experience being a shamanic or Reiki, I think, or you have the 10 years of experience that you have, and it's like you're gonna have both. You have both,
Mm.
and I want to stay in touch. So I want to know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna probably like hire you for a session because everyone
love
needs healing.
it. Likewise.
And how was your Voxer experience with me?
It was honestly, what's the right word? It surpassed like my expectations because you're so approachable. And at first I was like kind of held up. I'm like, oh, but we're on different continents, you know, how are we going to communicate? Like there's such a big time difference. And, you know, it just really helps that you're a night owl because we were able to, like, I feel like we were able to process what I really see Voxer is so powerful with for is like those lessons where I was having some resistance and I couldn't fully understand or apply the concept. So then I was able to reach out to you over Voxer and you're so responsive, you know, and it's not just like a quick, you know, you would really dive deep with me. And that, like, I see that as like almost as powerful as the modules for me
Mm.
because it was helping me get to that application. I remember with Ho'oponopono, when I first learned about it, I was very resistant. I was like, you don't deserve my forgiveness,
Yeah,
you know?
you're like, I don't even mean it.
Yes, I was like, it's fake. I don't like to do fake things, you know? And then I had to start with myself. So when I would, like, for instance, I would say something kind of negative in a staff meeting, and then at night is my pattern of like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. What do you think? You know, and then I would start to use Ho'oponopono on myself. Like, I'm sorry that I said that, you know,
Mm.
please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And it was
Wow.
like, oh, I just got spirit
Me
bumps.
too. I got goosebumps when you said it. Oh my gosh.
Yes, like now I get it. I get it. And I always knew on a mental level how toxic resentment and anger and like holding on to that, you know, it's like all the great guides have said like it's really self-poison.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually harm the other person very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Like it hurts us. And I knew that, but I had such a blockage around that. So it was like for me, that was life changing, life changing. The energetic shower meditation, like it brings me to such a place of expansion, you know, rather than like wanting to close in and constrict. It's like, you know, I can do
Mm.
this. I can let go. It's safe to let go of all of this. And it doesn't condone their behavior. That's what I used to think is like forgiveness tells that person their behavior is okay. And it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's actually totally separate. So it just, yeah, it was,
It's like
but
more like
Voxer was,
forgiving you for reacting that way, forgiving your trauma, your triggers, forgiving. It's like you're, I mean, yeah, it's like you're forgiving you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yes. And so that's where Voxer was so helpful because I think without it, I would have, you know, those blockages are hard to push through on your own. And so that's where that communication was so helpful.
Hmm.
And
Wow,
even when you
thank
would
you.
share parts of your story with me, like it just, I think that's where I appreciate your humility too, because it's not like you're this teacher on a pedestal, you know, that's like, oh,
No.
I've reached enlightenment. Like, you know, it was like to hear that you're still applying it. Because that's where the perfectionism even wanted to tell me, like one of my agendas that I wasn't aware of with self-growth and spiritual growth was to become more perfect.
Hmm.
Like I get so hard on myself when I feel like I've not been perfect, you know, if I've said something hurtful to someone or that was part of my agenda. And I became aware of that in this program and was like, that's not what spiritual healing and growth is about. Like, you know,
Hmm.
that was kind of my old mindset trying to like, oh, okay, you're giving us something new, like let me attach myself to it. It's like, no, it's, you know, the spiritual onion. It's there's always more healing to do. And now it's just a lot easier because I know what tools to use and I know the feeling of working through things.
Hmm. That was so powerful, actually. And yeah, like I feel like self-love, the definition changes for me every year.
Mm,
And I feel like this year was more like self-love is about being just honest with yourself. It's like if you don't feel good, don't don't feel good. And if you have something to heal, heal it. It's like the first year
mm,
I feel like it was more like I need to feel good, I need to feel happy, and I need to make myself feel happy. And it did work, but it's like I would repress the bad sides. And this year
mm,
it's more like I feel like self-love is not repressing. It's like letting things out, even if they're ugly, feel bad. It's like give love to the bad, to the ugly, to the nasty things. I feel like
mm.
more self-love to everything, not just the pretty, the good-looking ones, because people are not gonna judge you as bad, or you're not gonna judge it as bad. It's like, no, love more, love more, love more.
Yes.
Oh, wow, Ashley, thank you.
Yes.
And um, I have one last question, but maybe I'll ask you more after this one, if you have time only. To who would you recommend this program to, or what kind of people?
Easy. Everyone. And I don't, and I genuinely mean that. I have talked about this program a lot. Like anyone in my circle is like, oh yeah, like they all know. They're like, oh yeah, because I just think everyone can benefit. Honestly, there's so much to learn, and we all have our own limiting beliefs that get in the way of like true self-love. And so it's yeah, I wish everyone could enroll, honestly.
Wow. Thank you, Ashley. um, I wanted to ask you another question. So I teach in the program about the old paradigm and the new paradigm. Um, where are you living? I mean, it's not like it's black or white. Like, do you see yourself living more towards the new paradigm, which is the paradigm of ease, flow, feeling good,
Hmm.
relaxation?
Yeah, I feel like I'm mostly in the new. And then like yesterday when I kind of get a pull like back to the old, I now have more space between the old and the new to like recognize the difference between the two, and to
Mm,
then make a choice about the next, what do I need to do? Like go outside and stand on the earth with my bare feet, whatever I need to do to shift it. So I feel like I'm mostly in the new, but I'm still working on staying there firmly.
right. And how did that change your? Did you already know about this new paradigm before the program?
Not really. I think it kind of like the other things I've spoke about, it was more of like a concept, but it was kind of murky, and like I didn't, like, almost one of those things you try to grasp, but it's like air. You can't really get a hold of it.
Right.
So it was yeah, it just wasn't, it was very ambiguous to me, and like I valued the ideas, but I just didn't know how to apply them.
Mm. But you do feel like you're more in the new paradigm.
Yeah.
Because, okay. Now it's just curious,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
because from what I've hear in the interviews, like, you just went and walked your dog, you, you, you forgive yourself, you forgive others. It's like, I feel like you're moving more towards easement and feeling good and not punishing yourself, because the old paradigm is about punishing yourself.
Yeah.
You get rewarded if you work hard,
Mhm.
if with like that little thing when
Yep.
you.
Yep,
So I was
absolutely.
just curious, but
Yeah.
okay. And do you have any other comments that you would like to share before we
Let's
end the
see.
interview?
I'm just looking at my notes. Um, One thing for me that's been really interesting, and I know I've shared with you, is, because of my conditions I was born with, I've had physical pain my whole life.
Mm,
And so the pain body lesson was really, just to be honest, it was really difficult for me, because I almost thought like, oh wait, then this pain is my fault. Like my mind wanted to understand it that way. Like, here I have like a damaged spine, but this pain is my fault. And so I was able to sit with it and take time and really understand like the different ways that energy is stored in the body, which I already teach from a trauma perspective, but
right.
it was like understanding it on such a deeper level. And part of starting my day in gratitude and grounding and all of that, like one totally unanticipated consequence is I now have less physical pain than I've had in my entire life. And that
Really?
to me was like, and the doctors always use words like intractable pain, like it's not going anywhere, it's going to get progressively worse. Even when I talk to them, they're like, well, of course you feel pain. It's just this sort of like,
Right.
accept it. And they
Right.
started giving me pain medication in my teenage years, like a lot of hard, pain medication.
Wow.
And so just being able to free myself of that, and I don't even know, it's hard to even put into words, but like I had kind of resigned myself to a life of pain, because that, I was in pain since the moment I was born. And
Mm.
so to be re-examining my relationship with pain and realizing that some of it is emotional, some of it is kind of structural, like my spine, it's just the way my spine is. And but knowing that there's also like energetic and emotional contributions to that pain has been really powerful. So
Wow.
even, I guess, in thinking about like who could benefit from this program, like I think people with chronic pain are like a really, it's such a difficult, isolating experience that like now I'm learning to come through that,
Mm.
to release some of that, like that ego, shedding. That was a lot of the pain, was like physical pain too, of just like shedding it, and realizing that there, a lot of these tools help with physical pain too. We know they help with emotional pain, but like it really helps with my physical pain too.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like at some point of the program, I started to message all of you guys and asked you what physical pain do you guys have,
Yeah.
because it's connected to a limiting belief or to a
Yep.
trauma. And and yeah, it's like once you heal the limiting belief, not the pain, but the limiting belief or the trauma, it's like the pain also heals, because
Yeah.
the pain is just a manifestation of the beliefs that you have.
Hmm.
And yeah, wow. Well, I didn't know this, that like you haven't felt as much pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Wow.
know. It's been it's been really big.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, this was an amazing interview, Ashley. Like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story, and for, I'm sure you're gonna inspire a ton of people with your story. And where can people reach you? What if they want like a trauma session with you? Where could they reach
Yeah,
you?
probably through social media is like just a starting point. My Instagram is Ancient Soul Ashley, and then there's an underscore, so Ancient underscore Soul underscore Ashley.
Mm, okay,
Um, yeah, probably be a good
perfect.
starting point.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
Uh, okay, well, thank you everyone. And if you guys have any questions for Ashley, drop them in the comments below, and um, Ashley will answer them. I'll let her know, and or ask me any questions too, and I'll answer them immediately. Okay, I'll see you. We'll see you guys on the next interview. Bye.